audience.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the Mortgage Mike Speaks podcast. I'm your host, Mortgage Mike, and I've got my co-host.
Yes. My name is Steven Salinas. Hello, guys.
Yes. And we have a very special guest today, Stephanie Pribble.
Yes.
Yeah. And hey, if you're new to this show, I'm Mike, Mortgage Mike. And what I want you to know is that my team and I, Steven and I, and all the other guys on my team are known for putting the fun back in funded, right?
Yes, we do.
So yeah, we're all about helping our partners, our clients just build real authentic relationships and having fun while doing it. So I've got a fun person with us today, Stephanie Pribble, great real estate agent, somebody I've worked with for years now. Awesome woman, mom, wife, real estate agent. What else do you do?
Really, those three highlighted. I actually say wife, mom, realtor.
Wife, mom, realtor.
Yeah.
And I would agree with you on that. You do that very well. You're really good about taking care of your family, and you put them first. Yeah.
You have to. It's hard, especially in this industry. But
it's unbelievably hard in this industry because it can steal your time from the people that matter the most. Mm-hmm. Right.
Absolutely.
You got your priorities, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So Stephanie is a top producing real estate agent here in Houston. How long have you been doing this, Stephanie?
I typically will say nearly a decade, but just shy of that.
Just shy of a decade. Okay. And if you had to sum up your business in say one or two words, what would you say?
One or two words.
One or two words.
I would say organic.
Organic.
And transparent.
Transparent. Ooh. Okay. So tell us about organic.
Organic, I say I'm not a typical sales agent. I'm not going to sell anyone their house, and I don't ever put anyone's pressure to list or buy. It is just organic, and I lay out the facts, and they can figure it out what best fits them and their family and their scenario.
Yeah.
That would be the
organic part.
Yeah.
Is that also, how does transparent, or is that also play into transparency as well?
Plays into it. Transparent is I again just lay out the black and white facts, and I'm not trying to sell them, but I'm also whether it be floodplains, whether it be hey, if you're looking in this neighborhood and you're not going to be able to get that price point that you want, or timeline, just kind of lay it out versus telling someone what they want to hear.
Yeah,
very good.
I think what makes it easy is probably you do a lot of business with your friends. That makes it really possible to do that,
Yeah. Well, I think is one of the things you put on here is relationship is your top priority.
Yeah.
And I would in working with you, Stephanie, I would agree, because the clients that we work with, that you work with, that you send to us, number one, have a deep regard for you, right? Because we always ask.
They respect you.
They really respect you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is that I do feel like it's like friends. Like you have a real personal, there's a personal part that you're able to connect with people on. That makes it more friendly. I don't know. Is that?
Well, I think you
sense?
If you build trust with them.
Yeah.
Like if you're referring them this way or that way, they're easy to lead because they trust you. That's a big factor. Kind of just like what we do.
Right.
Because if we're even just a shade of being not transparent, people are flying the other way.
Right.
There's already so many bad examples out there of people kind of bait and switching, or there's just things shady things out there when they put business first.
Yeah.
And not the person or the numbers.
Consumers have so much at their fingertips these days. So.
For sure they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New apps and people are starting through they're looking at HAR before they even do anything
to anybody.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Look, let's go a little bit personal here. So you were married. How long have you been married?
Wow. A bit.
I got to go back.
8 or 9 years.
Good. And you have a daughter?
Yes.
How old's your daughter?
She's 2. A handful.
Yeah.
We see her on social media. She's awesome.
I call her my assistant.
That's your assistant.
Yes.
That's good. She helps sell.
She does.
Sometimes,
she does.
Oh, I bet.
They're better salespeople than we are, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I see here you love to cook.
I do.
Oh, what's your favorite dish?
We're very into Mexican food. So anything
Oh,
with
sweet.
chili.
Yeah.
And basically that's the main ingredient is either chili or tortillas. So
Okay.
Mexican.
Now you're from New Mexico
Yes.
originally, right?
Correct.
So is that where this idea of Mexican and chilies come from? Okay.
It's pretty much, my husband is also from New Mexico, and it's basically what we grew up on. And and honestly, not until I came to Houston did I learn all these different cuisines. So, but bread and butter, Mexican food.
Yeah. Cool. I love it.
Is that where the blue corn tortillas are?
I'm not sure.
Is that in New Mexico?
I don't know.
I feel like that's actually a Texas thing, maybe.
Is that a Texas thing?
Might be.
Now, I'm gonna look it up.
So when you talk chilies, would that be like, because I've had New Mexican food, and it's not Tex-Mex at all. It's a completely different genre of cooking.
Yes.
So which way?
It's Hatch Green chilies.
I love Hatch.
Yes.
Oh, chilies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Delicious.
I go to Chewy's a lot, and they are big on that.
They do have.
Right.
They have a green chili festival.
Yes,
Nope, this is not a plug for. This is not an advertisement for Chewy's, but I do go there for my birthday every year. That's fun.
Well, the next time you cook, I have to come over. Yeah, I'll bring the whole family in tow because Stephanie and I live in the same neighborhood. So,
awesome.
So, Stephanie, what did you do prior to real estate?
I sold advertising and marketing for the Houston Chronicle and the Houston Press.
Cool.
Wow.
I can't imagine that being too easy.
No, and that was the first thing I did out of college, and it actually made me very well versed in Houston, which was a good stepping stone to where I am now. But it kind of just really entranced me in as being a transplant, if you will.
Right. So you've got to know the city
quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the best of it too.
I would agree.
Yeah.
What how did you make the transition out of that into real estate? Like what was the catalyst that took you out of a sales environment, right? And well, not that this isn't sales, but out of that environment into real estate. What was that?
It always had an interest in real estate, and once I got married, I thought, okay, let me just take this plunge.
Yeah.
And that's honestly how it happened. I really had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And if I knew what I knew now, I probably wouldn't have. But thankfully, it all worked out.
And it's so great when you don't know.
Yes.
Like probably when you got out of college and you started selling advertisement for the Chronicle and the Houston Press, you had no idea.
No idea.
Right.
Oh no.
No frame of reference. Do this. Okay, I'll do it. Right.
Both the grind.
Yeah. Right. Real estate, same thing. I don't know. Somebody tells me to do something, I'll do it, not knowing anything else other than I'll just do what I'm told. It's amazing what happens when you just do what you're told instead of like overthinking things.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a beauty in that.
There's such beauty in it. Yeah. I appreciate that spot. How about, tell us about just growing up. Like what was life like growing up for you?
So as I mentioned, I was from New Mexico. It's a very small town, and it was just very quaint and simple, to be honest. The people were awesome. It was a really safe town. Just when you think small town, that was where I grew up. And both sides of my family are in the horse business, so that's kind of what we surrounded ourselves with. But other than that, just very quaint and simple.
Cool. That's great.
Was there anybody in your childhood that like had a really big impact in your life?
This may be cliche, but my parents, I was an only child, and honestly, they never told me I couldn't do something. And so, I mean, even as small and silly as growing up, I would play different instruments that I was not good at, but they never told me no, or, we had to go buy a trumpet and go buy drumsticks and things like that. And they just always let me know that I could do what I wanted.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Are they still there?
They are in New Mexico, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's
but
really
you missed
cool.
them with a daughter and their granddaughter.
Yes. My mother frequents often.
That's very nice. Right. I'm sure she finds a reason to get there. Yeah.
It has its pluses and minuses as far as we get to kind of grow our family, just us, but then also get the support, when we need some extra hands.
Is your husband's parents here? Or are they still?
They're in New Mexico.
Okay, in New Mexico as well. Okay.
Mhm.
Did you guys meet in college?
In New Mexico.
Okay. Very
Great.
cool. I love that.
So small town to like Houston being one of the largest cities in the United States.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that like you really enjoy about the small town really enjoy about the kind of big city, because I think that shows a lot about just like what you really value, what's most important to you, what are the kind of similarities or differences.
The people where I grew up were just, and I think that's maybe kind of where I say organic and transparent is just the people were just so good-hearted. And I think there's something to the simple life of that. And then in Houston, there's just so much to do. Even when we go back to visit New Mexico, yes, there's the things that we must do. But outside of that, then I, quickly reminded why we are in Houston, why we will stay in Houston. And there's just, whether it be food, activities, outdoor, just everything to do. And that's what I love most.
Yeah. Houston. Yeah. There's so much to do that like you don't even do. I was thinking about with my kids, and there's so much, and we really don't do much, in regards to seeing all these things around us. It's like, we're here. But it's just like, there's a lot to do in the city.
There is.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of of those Houston foodie kind of people on Instagram in Houston. So I'm just like, oh, that looks pretty cool. I was like, I'm just gonna save that.
Yes.
We'll
do
that.
We can't go to, we always frequent the same restaurants, but we have a running list of places we need to try.
What about, was there ever a time you felt like you experienced a big break?
I wouldn't say necessarily a break, but really after my first year in real estate, I think those people around me, my sphere, thought, okay, she's serious about this, just because I'm very honest that everyone knows 5 agents. People have a thought about real estate, getting their license. And really after that first year, I kind of went through the hard part of learning, and still learning every day, but really the biggest hurdles. And then really the people around me kind of finally were, okay, she's serious. So I would say that would be quote unquote break. After the first year was when things changed.
Yeah. How did you lean into like that space? So you've got that year, you've reached out to the sphere, right? And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I'm at the end of my sphere. Where do we go from here? Oh, we can at the end of my sphere, where should we go from here? What did that look like? Like, what do you do, right? Or do you just keep going back to the sphere?
I used to actually say I didn't have a sphere, and now I'm about 95% repeat and referral. But the first year I worked on people I didn't know, so that they could sing my praises. And then the people around me saw that, and which also kind of built its own trust in that. And then it kind of just continued to snowball from there.
So how do you, when you look at like relationship, right? It's one of the keys, right? Your top priority. So is ours as well. How do you stay in relationship once a transaction is done? What does that look like?
I'm big on, the relationship that's going to last past the house. And, when we're in the process of talking about everything that they're going to get in the house, so the park, the restaurants, dry cleaner, grocery stores. So outside of that, honestly, it just becomes, again, coming back full circle to the organic, is the friendship and relationship is made, and it's kind of easy to stay in touch. And whether it be we talk once a year on a birthday, or, we really click on that extra level and the kids get together, or the husbands, or we're already pretty close knit and just continue the dinners, happy hours, breakfasts, play dates, all of the above.
I love it. So you combine life with your real estate business, and that sounds pretty cool.
Yes, I say real estate's not a job; it's a lifestyle.
Right.
So the parts of working, when people are not, but also on the other sides of, everyone's going to always ask about real estate. So if you're at dinner, someone's going to talk about it. So
you're not going to just not talk about it.
Yes, it's entrenched in everybody.
And life changes happen around real estate. And
it's
there's
true.
Always life changes going on. So you've got to know that, really what the statistics are, the average American will move every 5 to 7 years. It's probably sooner than that, depending on what happens in those life changes. So there's always an opportunity for real estate in that discussion. Yeah.
And even with that, inside the loop, I feel like is its own little dynamic, because yes, the 5 to 7, but I feel like inside the loop, it's more 3 to 5, because life kind of happens quicker, and you realize, okay, some of this inner loop lifestyle may not fit that, and maybe it's more.
Well, the 3-story townhome with no yard, and now you have children.
Yes.
That changes everything.
Yeah. Both great.
You're living in Rice Military and you don't even have a sidewalk and you're afraid for your kids to go anywhere near the street.
Yeah.
Those things will make you move, and they'll make you move fast. Yeah. That is fantastic. What about, was there ever a moment where you just felt like giving up? It doesn't have to be in real estate. It can be in anything, college, whatever.
It was in real estate. It was circled back to that first year just because I did not know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard. And I was just married. So, get married and then go to no paycheck. And learning a whole new industry.
Yeah.
So I would say that was the hardest. I wasn't going to quit, but it was hard.
So tell me more about that. Wasn't going to quit. Where does that come from?
I think I never wanted to let my folks down. Kind of when we say family, their influence. But I didn't want the people, that allowed me, if you will, to take that leap, to fail them, honestly, even though I should have just been doing it for myself. But they're my core. So
so where does that come from? Go a little bit. Tell us more about that part, because there's clearly there's a connection into that space, right? So what is that? If you had to think more about that, like what is it that says, I don't want to fail them?
I'm not sure. I'll even say sometimes, as silly as, getting ready, I'd rather get ready for my husband versus, some of my girlfriends, because I care most what he thinks.
Got it.
And he's, like the closest person to me. Little things like that transcend. But again, I didn't want, as far as failing, to let, my family fail, especially with their support. But why it goes deeper, I'm not quite sure I can put my finger on.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Yeah. Okay, so I'm jumping all over the place. We're going back and forth in kids, career, your childhood, but even just back, like even in the midst of the relationship aspect, I just want to come back to that spot, because I think you're, and I think about this in my work. I just want to work with people that like I would be friends with, and back to your comments of it's not just to the closing table and it's done, right? Like it's just, I would say our cliche would be, well, it's not 30 years, like a 30-year mortgage, or 30 days to closing, it's 30 years. Like we're in for the long term, right?
Yeah.
And what we do. So as you look at like long term for you, how far do you see real estate going? Do you think this is something that, gosh, you could just lean into and do this for the next 30 years, or what does that look like for you?
Yes, I would say definitely in it for the long haul. Part of me is, hey, I've come this far to not just come this far, and happen to be good at what I do.
Yes, I'm just gonna echo. You're really good at what you do, Stephanie.
But I can see going to a next level of something, maybe on the building creative side of it, just seeing as we already have a hand or foot in it, but bread and butter, and my focus will always be the real estate end of it.
Real estate. So, tell us, you just vision casted for us a little bit. You said the building, but talk to us more about that part.
I think having done this so long, and I can kind of encapsulate when I have a certain client and I can say I know what they'll want.
Yeah.
Or when they go into a house, I'll know almost even before then that this is their house.
Yeah.
Just kind of knowing, or working with certain builders and things that I would do or change, or just a combination of all of that. And honestly, it's just from the years of experience in it, really is where I think I can bring an advantage to that.
So you're reading people, hearing them, reading what they are potentially looking for, and then being able to creatively see, or like, are you thinking like maybe you would help in a remodeling capacity?
Remodeling,
right? Okay.
Build that type
build
of thing.
out to say, hey, I hear what you're looking for. We can help. We can bring this to life.
Yes, or I have folks, I say HGTV ruin people, but they say they want to flip a house. I say you do not.
Yeah.
Because it costs more time and money than they think.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I have people that have no indication of selling anytime soon, but they're asking me questions about their remodel or things for resale, just because A, their relationship, but B, down the line, and trust that I look at this every day and can say, okay, what's going to be a little bit more timeless? What's going to be, even if you don't like this is something you should consider, things like that.
Right. Yeah. The last thing you need to do is like hyper personalize a home. Then when you go to sell it, people are like, I don't like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. The pink tile was not a good choice, or something like that.
I say people like pretty things, for lack of better words,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very, very true.
Cool.
I know my wife is like that too. Because when we got our place, we were doing stuff. They were doing some work on the inside, for like taking off the floors and stuff. And she was already had me like ready to fixing stuff on the outside. Like we put up the hang lights in the back, on the deck. And yeah, I totally get that. Oh, yeah. People do like pretty things.
Yeah,
it's true.
There's ways to make it your own.
What is something that you're excited for in this new year?
That's a loaded one. We're in an odd, strange time.
Yeah, it's a crazy time right now.
World, in our market, all of that. What I'm excited for, really, just to keep doing what you're doing. I say I keep my head down and I just sell houses.
Yeah.
And just kind of not in the minutia and things like that. And okay, now everyone's past, pandemic craze and things like that. So just kind of getting back to what it was, even circling back to, the dinners, happy hours. We kind of lost that the last 2 years. So I could say maybe I'm excited to do more of that, more in front of the people that I want to be in front of.
Well, I think when we look at the fact that how big Houston is, it really doesn't take us doing much to really make an impact and having make a good living at what we do. It's just a matter of like, I'm going to cut out all the distractions and then just do what I do every day, right? Do it well, continue to do those things that cultivate relationship, that creates a business that repeats itself, right? Over and over and over again. And then regardless of whether or not rates have done what they've done in the last 60 days, which is kind of shocking to so many people when we start talking interest rates, because their mind's thinking it's below 3. It's like, no, it's not. It's way above 4 now. But just not letting those things drive our business, right? Because they really don't drive the business. Yeah, it's like we're almost, I would say we're market neutral, we're recession proof, if we just do the right work. And that's the key. I think you're doing the right work, Stephanie.
Thank you. I say everyone will always need a house.
Yes, they will. A home. They're going to need a real estate agent, a good one. Stephanie Pribble's a good one. So.
And financing as well.
Yes. The way it all comes together. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's a good capper to the show right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen, any thoughts, closing thoughts?
Yeah, no, I really like just talking about like why you do what you do, the things that you enjoy about your work. I think it's encouraging for us too, because just making it simple, like you said, kind of just zoom out, just look at what you have, just go kind of look at the simple things,
simple, transparent,
and just doing those things consistently can make a really big difference.
Simple, transparent relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, guys, if y'all enjoyed this podcast, please comment or
share, subscribe would be good. Yeah, we like subscribing.
Save
it.
Yeah, you could do anything.
Share it with somebody, pass it on.
Yeah,
you got questions, you can comment, we'll answer.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, the other thing is this: we need guests.
Yes, we do need
so
guests.
If you want to be a guest, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the show. So
cool.
All
right, guys.
We will
see you next time
on the next episode.